Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm T with Teresa H Creates, and this is part 2 of my little simple autumn junk journal. And I'm going to remove this heavy book. This is the World Book Dictionary, and I was using it to kind of flatten down my cover. In the first video, we took this bit of burlap, and it's a real nice tight weave. It has a backing to it, so it's staying held together. It was a 12 by 12. I cut it down to 12 by 8. And then we put this single layer of napkin on top. After it dried, it was left curling a little bit. And so I did put that heavy dictionary on it just to flatten it down a bit. And I think I left it probably overnight, about 24 hours. So let's go ahead and trim this down and then see what we've got here, because we've got our signature to the side. We went ahead and put our signature together in that first video, and now I'd like to see how much I am going to have to get rid of. I trimmed the signature height-wise, but not width-wise, and I know that they are going to be peaking. So I don't always mind a peaking signature. Sometimes I like it, but with this one, I think I want it inside the cover. So right here, you can see this little corner is not quite down. Let's see. The rest of this is down really well. So it's just this tiny little corner that I'm going to have to fix. Not a problem. You can see this white line here. And this was some binding tape that I put on the spine just to reinforce it. So let's see where the center is approximately. I wanted to keep it kind of nice and soft, but I do need to give this a little bit of a bend because that binding tape is pretty stiff. And I want to find a center point in there. There we go. That looks good. Is that about right? That is about right. Now I got to figure out whether or not I want to cut these with scissors or I want to just rip with my straight edge. I'm going to go right down here so that I know how far out I can go. I'm going to get a little bit of this matte medium and go ahead and fix this corner. That shouldn't take any time for that to dry. That was just a tiny amount. Clean this up. And the matte medium does dry matte. As it implies in the name, you can see I did put a layer on top to seal it. And it feels great. And you can't tell, there's no shine. It looks beautiful. It's perfect. Okay, I'm going to set it aside to dry. Let me get rid of this and then we'll take care of getting our signature prepared. All right, I'm gonna go in slightly, just a little bit. I've got two pieces of paper. No, it's just the one. Wow, okay. So, oh, I guess you know what? I didn't trim it down. I'll have to do some trimming there too. Okay. But I think that width-wise, all of these are going to fit in there except for these larger 12 by 12 sheets. So let me give it a mark. I will go in just a bit and tear it. I kind of like the rough edge since I already started that. Let's just continue with it. I may have to put this back together again. I don't know which way I had that. I think that's about right. All right. And then let's see. You'll notice that it comes out a little bit. So as you're making your journal, as you get closer and closer to the center, the further out it pushes a lot of these papers. So you have to continue going in a little bit further and further every time. That looks good. And then we've got that center one. All right. going to mark that there. And then I'm going to mark this here. I've liked the torn look lately. That's what I've really been into. Instead of having just these nice straight lines. I could have taken an X-Acto blade and actually, you know, cut it and had nice even lines. What's the fun in that? That's a little bit tough because we made that pocket in here. So I was having to tear through 4 sheets there. Okay, let's put that back in the center. And it looks good. I'm gonna have to take off a little bit of the height. So let me go ahead and take care of that. All right, I didn't have to take off too much, just a little bit. Let's go ahead and look at our ephemera. The person this belonged to did a lot of the work, honestly. There was so much in here. Let me pull out all these little pockets and file folders she had. Okay. And then these are all fussy cuts. I kind of like this envelope. It is nice and aged, and I wonder, it's longer, but I think I could put it in here somewhere. I think I could find a place for it. Like it here, maybe. We were going to have to cover this with trim anyway, so maybe this side here. I could tear it at both ends and then close it back up. That'll work. So let's go here and here. All right, I'm going to close these ends back up. Just a thin line and another line right down here. And there we go. And it looks like she was already inking these up with a darker color. I think that I might throw in some wild honey though, so that it's not quite so dark and it's a little bit more golden. I really want it to have that fall vibe and to have a nice rich golden kind of undertone to it. So I think that that wild honey will look nice on there. Let me change this out. And anyone who has seen just a few of my videos knows that this wild honey is one of my favorites. One of my favorite distress colors. Going to give that nice golden autumn tone. There we go. Get the inside here. All right. Let's go back to our page. Where were we? Perfect. I could make a tuck spot, but I'm not going to. I'm going to glue the whole thing down. It does have that dry glue on it, and I don't want to have it getting wet at any point in time and then sticking anyway. How about that? And then we've got our little pocket. Okay, and then these guys. I haven't really used any of these little file folders like this in anything, so I don't quite know. Are they just for, I guess they could just be for writing if you wanted to open it up and write on it, right? And what do? We just clip it in, or do we glue it in? I guess we could do either, right? It could go either way. And then these guys, she sealed some of these up. I think I'm going to put that down there. I hate to cover up all of this, but I'm going to make a pocket out of that though too. All right. Let me put it right down here. And then she made some tags and tabs and things. Let me pull these off. Let's see what we've got in here. I want to add a nice little label in the front. So let's see what we've got. We put something here. Fall, hello, and then these are blank. Lots of little tickets. Okay, what if we ink this up and put this little guy there? Let's do that. Hello, puppy. Puppy Menace came in to say hello. Got a nice little label here. These pretty little guys. Writing space. I haven't even inked up edges and things like that, and it's already looking very fall. Do these go over the edge like this? And then you can take them on and off. Why am I clueless about these guys? I've just never really used them like this. So that's why I'm just kind of like, I don't know. I don't know what to do with this. But if I placed it like this, then it would open up. Well, that's what we're going to do, because I'm not sure. So we're going to go ahead and place one. But then how do you keep it from just flopping open? We'll do it down low and we'll make a pocket out of it as well. I kind of want to leave myself some options since I'm not familiar with using a lot of these. Just two of these guys. I could do two. I'll do that. Let me ink this up. She made them, so I want to use them. I don't know that I would put this many envelopes in a single journal, especially one of this size, since it's just, I don't know why I'm inking the back of that. That is not going to get seen. And I'm going to put these straight down. Since I'm doubling them up, I'm not going to leave a a pocket. I'm just going to go ahead and put it straight down. This already has some of the brown distress on it, but I'm going to go over with a little bit of this anyway. This wild honey, lighten it up a bit. There we go. Wait a second. That is going to glue the entire thing down. Yep. Okay. So I'm going to put my glue here. I'm going to get started on making some ephemera soon. I've been toying around with the idea of making a curiosities shop kind of a journal, making a really large one. And I need to go ahead and start doing some ephemera for it. And I want to put together some really cool pockets. And I have a pocket idea in mind. It's something I used ages ago. And I think I'm going to do a tutorial on that soon. I think you guys will like the pockets. All right. This needs to be trimmed down. So let me see if I can get this right. It's got to come in at an angle. I got this too close. Let me. All right, let's see. That's the way we want it. You know what, guys? I could have done those pockets right there and covered up those upside down trees, but I didn't, and it's done. So, but I don't know that I want to glue these down because I wanted this scene, or do I? I'm going to go ahead and ink all of this up. That was the idea when I initially did this, is I folded this into a pocket because I really wanted to leave that seam down there intact. And now, I'm not sure. Okay. Let's put this back in here and take a look. I mean, I can always figure that out later. I don't have to figure that out right now. What else do I have? I've got one more file folder. Where can I put this guy? Here we go. All right, I'm going to do this like I did the others, I guess. I'm just going to put it there, but I do want to leave it so that it opens, and then there's lots of writing space in there, but I am going to make a pocket out of it. All right, she's already inked up the edges of this. All right. Let's see if this guy is dry. And it is. It's already dry. So let's pop this in here and see what this is going to kind of look like. How cute is that? All right, I think I want to go in and ink up the edges of this. And I don't think you need to see that. So I'm going to ink the edges and get this stitched in, and then we'll finish decorating. I want to work on getting some more elements into the journal. So here it is attached to the cover. Isn't it adorable? It fits perfectly. And look at those sunflowers. That's beautiful. I absolutely love the way that turned out. And then I inked everything up. So let me close it up and see. I hope that you can see how putting that wild honey on it really transformed it. It looks nice and golden, which is exactly what I wanted to have happen. Okay, so I do want to protect the corners of this though, because I'm worried over time that this will start to unravel. So I pulled out my little metal bin here. So much stuff. This has all of the book plates. And then it has all of my book corners, though, all my little metal book corners. So let me find something I think might work. I want something larger. I think I don't want something really little. How about this? That could work. That looks good. I think these are too little. Way, way, way too little. Yeah, that's not going to work. Okay, let me pull away some of these larger ones. Oh, look at that. That's 4 of those. I have so much stuff, guys. So much stuff. And oh, it looks like I only have 2 of these. That's a bummer, because I was really kind of leaning that direction. Okay, well, that is a bummer. But I have all of these, it looks like. Maybe. Okay. I think I've got it narrowed down. All right. Let's see. We can do that. Oh, we could do this one. Or we could do this guy. I kind of like this guy. We're going to go with those. I'm going to put a little bit of glue just to hold it. And I'm going to use the Fabri-Tac because of the burlap so that it's stuck. All right. Oh, I guess I should have gotten my tools ready first. That would have been good. I pulled out the toolkit but didn't have the tools ready. So I'm just going to use these flat pliers here. That would be Puppy Menace playing with her food bowl. I'm going to close those up until they clamp. And then that should hold that in place. It's on there pretty good. All right, I'm going to speed it up and do the rest of these. All right, look at that. Isn't that cute? I also would like to put some little eyelets here so that I can tie some ribbon through there to use for my closure. So let me get 2 of these out. These I like because they have the nice little backings. So they have the little grommets that go on the back, so that when they close up, it looks better on the back. You know, because sometimes when you press them and they kind of splay out, it doesn't always look the best, but this will be visible. So I really want it to look good. So let's pinpoint like the halfway. Here we go. It's going to be this line here on my grid. I love having this grid paper out here just for this reason. So it gives me kind of a guide. I am going to go in. There we go. So for those of you who aren't used to the crocodile, I went in. So it's probably what, like 1/2 inch. So I was able to kind of mark it so that I'll be able to do the same on both sides. Trim this up a little bit so I've got room for my eyelet. These eyelets are a little bit bigger than my crocodile hole, the little punch there. Okay, I've already got it set. And there we go. And then you see how it does still splay out, but because it's got that backing there, it just gives it an overall better appearance. Just looks a little better, I think, anyway. But there we go. Now we've got our little eyelet set for our closure. Okay, and now we'll do this one. So we're kind of right down the center. I'm going to go down to 1/2 inch. There we go. Give that a cut. And yep. So this is the way I have it for these larger ones. You can see that this right here holds the eyelet in place, and then that right there forces it closed. Put this back on. And that's just for those of you who are new and aren't sure what eyelets are or what I'm doing here. And there we go. So again, I like it with the little backers on them. I do have a few more elements that I want to go ahead and attach in the journal with you here. So let's see. I've got to find a place for this little fabric flip. The person who put this together or curated this had already done this. And I don't know why she didn't use it herself. This is so cute. But I'm grateful that I've got it now. I like all the little loose bits, but I kind of want to trim the stuff up that's a little bit crazy. Okay, so we've got to find a place for this. Let's see. What if we did it there? Kind of tone down a lot of that blue. I like the blue, but it kind of just tones it down. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac to attach it. I'm just going to attach the top. That was a craft-a-lanch happening. If you heard that noise. I've got some baskets or bins over to the side that hold ribbon. I was shopping through them to get some of these ribbon bits out. That are to my side here, and now the whole thing is going to fall over. All right. And that is a cute little flat fabric flip. Nice. And then I've got several bits of fabric that I want to attach. Let me see. Remember on these we had that spot that some of these had the little white stripes on them still from the printing process. This one we covered with the envelope. I put tabs on the rest of these guys. Still need to cover this guy up. There we go. There's our first one. All right. I pulled quite a bit of stuff here. So it would look cute here. I'm going to go ahead and attach it. Let me trim it up. I'm going to grab my wax paper. I'm going to put some Fabri-Tac right down here. This is a lot of ribbon for this thin sheet of just printer paper. Okay, which side does it go on? This side. And I'm going to make sure that that orange is what's lined up along that Fabri-Tac. That's the more solid piece. So there we go. All right, I'm going to put another piece in front. So that we don't stick, and we'll keep moving because there should be one more. Must be back here. There we go. And I thought maybe this is this too Christmas looking. It's a ribbon. It's got some green and red. What do we think? I also have some of this. I'm not loving it. It's stiff. This is a wire ribbon. I wonder if I cut the wire. I don't want to use my scissors for that and end up damaging them. I'm glad I have this out. All right. So that's cut. There we go. Want to do this without, there we go. All right. I wonder if this will slide. It does slide out. Okay. Let me put these away before I hurt somebody, mostly myself. Okay. I do like this color. I don't like this solid though. Trim this off. I was hoping to get kind of a rough edge. Nope, that's the right way. I am just gonna have to trim that off. I mean, I like the look of that, but it was just too much. So I am going to go ahead and attach this here, and I think over time it will fray more. But I like that orange. That's a good color. I missed inking here. All right. Let's put this down. It is loud in my house today. The puppies are loud today. Puppy Menace is throwing her dog bowl around, and then my little blind dog, Sugar, is upset at something going on out there. Okay. Let's see if this one over here has dried at all. Yeah, it's dried enough. Okay, but you know what? This kind of flops here and there, so it can actually do like this. So I'm going to leave it. I am going to leave that. I'm going to trim it up a bit though. I'm not going to cut it exactly the length, but there it's trimmed up well. There we go. Okay. That's pretty like that. I actually kind of like that. That ended up working out well. Okay. And then I've got this guy, and I just don't know if I'm going to use it or not. I thought it would make a cute tuck, but I'm not sure where. And I'm not sure that I like it. So I may just scrap it all together. There's the other side of this page that needs something. Oh, but look, there's this. Okay. You know what? Those are my fabric scissors. That is a no-no. I'm going to trim this. I better not. Okay. This is green, so I don't think that I'm really going to get much of this to show up, but I do want a little bit, because it's just a little too, I don't know, it looks a little too clean. What if we attach it here? I like this torn edge, so I don't necessarily want to cover it up, but these yellows I think look really nice together. So let's do that. And this will make a little tuck up here. Looks good, looks really good. All right. So I'll continue decorating. I'm going to just clean up all these tags and then put them into pockets. And when I come back, we'll do a quick flip through. It's done. Isn't she pretty? So I did use a loosely woven burlap to put on top in a contrasting kind of a color. It's much lighter than this background piece. And then I did use, a few embellishments that I had to decorate the top, and then put the little faceplate on there so that we've got fall and happy fall, y'all, because I'm in Texas. All right, and then I've got the corners. You guys saw me add those, so they'll be nice and protected. I just left the spine open. I guess I could have probably wrapped something, but I really didn't find anything in my stash that I wanted to wrap around the spine, so I thought I'll just leave it open. And it feels good. It is rough because it's burlap, but it feels good. And then I added just this little decorative button down here. I just tied it onto these strings. It's just hanging there kind of loose. So let's open it up. I love this ombre ribbon here. Isn't that pretty? Thought it was perfect for this. So I left this plain. I really love the way these sunflowers turned out on this, and so I didn't want to cover them up. So I left them as is, and then we've got a little label here. Somebody can put their name. And I've got a couple of tags here. We've got some journaling cards tucked inside there. It's a little tab. I really wanted to leave a lot of writing space. It's like I normally do. These are journals. And then just little embellishments on the corners. I loved these images, and I really didn't want to cover them up, so I left a lot of those open. Here is some more writing space here. That'll fold down, and then I left it as a pocket. So we've got some tags back there, more writing space, just little embellishments, falling leaves. I did stamp some leaves down here. This is that little envelope. There's a large journal card inside there. And then here's our little fabric flip. So pretty. And again with the sunflowers, it's a nice theme. And then this says Celebrate Autumn up the side there. Added a little acorn. Love this little scarecrow. Little envelope. Didn't put anything in the little envelopes. I thought it'd be cute to have them there, but somebody else can put something in there. I've got some little journaling cards in these guys. I had to cover up that little owl, so I did some oversized ephemera on those just to cover up that little guy. And then on this, if you followed me for a little bit, you'll recognize this. When I did my junk mail junk journal, I used matte medium on some dyed paper towel I was using to kind of clean up my mess as I was working with inks and things. And then I love the way it turned out. So anyway, I covered it with some matte medium. I made it nice and durable. I had a leftover sheet because it was a 2-ply and I didn't use all of it. I did use the nice rough side of the paper towel, so it has a lot of texture to it, and then added a few embellishments. And then here's that little button, and it just slides up and down. No reason. I just tied it on that way. That was all. There's a little tuck spot, some little embellishments, fall blessings. There's a little scarecrow. This ribbon is so pretty. I actually like the way that turned out. And then it does flop out, so it is a really wide piece of ribbon, but it just naturally folds over here. And so I've just left it. I think it's really cute. I think that's actually pretty perfect. So I like the way that turned out. Here's another one of those file folders for extra journaling. And then we've got some journaling cards up there. Lots of writing space. Again, this little file folder will flip out for writing space. Added a little label up here, some tags. I added this bit of ribbon here. I'm hoping that as time goes on, it'll kind of fray and become a little bit more distressed there. But I just thought the color matched everything else in this book perfectly, so I liked it. This is a little pocket. I've got a journaling card in there. And then I also left it open as a tuck spot. So I've got 2 really large journaling cards inside. And then the end, I just left it plain. I didn't think it needed anything else. Those papers are absolutely beautiful, so I thought that they, kind of spoke for themselves, and I didn't want to cover them up. So somebody can put pictures on them or leave them or glue ephemera over them or write across them, whatever they would like. I left a lot of real estate in this journal. It came together super quick, it was super easy. I love just a nice little easy one signature fall journal. Let me know if you have any questions about how I assembled this journal or anything I used in this journal. I'm happy to answer. Just put them down in the comment section. All right, thanks for spending some time with me, and until next time, bye.